So the title says insects, but in actuality we're going to be talking about arthropods, which they are invertebrate animals and they have an exoskeleton, segmented bodies, jointed appendages, and they are from the phylum Arthropoda. And they include insects, arachnids, myriapods, and crustaceans. So what is an insect, like the title says? It's a class of invertebrates within the arthropod phylum. They have chitinous exoskeletons, 3-part bodies, which is the head, thorax, and abdomen. And they also have 3 pairs of jointed legs, compound eyes, and 1 pair of antennae. So for this webinar, we're going to have both insects and then insects that are in the arthropod family. We have other creepy crawlies and all sorts of things to talk about today. Now they can be used for behavioral lessons. Some make just great classroom pets, but I will be talking about all that. Next up, we have a Chilean rose-haired tarantula. Now, they look much scarier than they actually are. So they are from the deserts of northern Chile and Bolivia and Argentina. Let's see how we can see. I will hold it first and then I'll hold it underneath the camera. So these guys are the most docile of all the pet tarantulas. They are called rose hairs. Come on. She doesn't want to cooperate. They are called rose hairs because they have like a rosy sheen to them. Once I get her out, I can show it off. There we go. Let go. There we go. Can we see that? Okay, I will hold it under the...
Switching cameras?
Yeah. Here we go. So this is a Chilean rose-haired tarantula. You can see kind of like the pink on top of her head. Now they are, like I said, docile, but they do have venom, but it's about as potent as a bee sting. So if they do bite, which they would rather not, they would much rather run away than bite you. It is like a bee sting. So for students that might be allergic to bees, I wouldn't recommend holding them just in case. But other than that, they are fine to hold. You can see she's just hanging out. For those of you who are just joining us, if you could please press *6 to mute, that would be great. Thank you. So another couple facts about her. They don't burrow in captivity, although I do have one at home that has built herself a fine little cave. So it's really cool to see how they do that in their habitat. Yep. They also have urticating hairs, which they can shoot out, and they can be irritating, but again, it's not something she would prefer to do. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, please press *6 to mute. Thank you. As you can see, she's just kind of hanging out. So let me just flip my, if we can go to the next slide, please.
Did I switch it?
I think so. Sorry about that. Here we go. So like I said, what to do with them in a classroom setting. Obviously make absolutely great classroom pets because they are very low maintenance. They need a spritz of moisture a week and a cricket each week. You can use them for behavioral studies like reaction to environment. Do they prefer light or dark? A behavioral study which bases on feeding. Would she rather eat a cricket or maybe a cockroach or some other small critter? You can also learn about webbing, which she's not doing right now, but they have, let's see if I can get it. They have little spinnerets on their back. That's where the webbing comes out of, right there. And they sometimes build webs, which the students can then compare. I'm having some crawling difficulties here. Students can compare webbing, like what does her web look like in comparison to a house spider's web, for example. Another thing maybe for the higher, like 7th, 8th grade classrooms is mating. The males actually have hooks on their front legs, which they use during mating to hold the female's fangs out of the way. And then one more really awesome thing is the molting behavior. And what molting is how the spiders grow. Because they have the exoskeleton, they need to shed that in order to grow. So what they do is they usually get a bald spot on their back here. It indicates whether they're ready to molt or not. And then they will lay down on their backs and the back will split open, and then the tarantula will molt. It almost looks like she's taking off a jacket. And let me put her away, and I actually have a molt to show off. So right here, we can maybe zoom in on that. And what's really cool about the molts is that they show every single part of the tarantula, and including the fangs. So they is that all we can zoom in? There we go.
Okay, very good.
Blurry on our end.
Is it blurry? Okay. So the fangs are right here, but you can see every single little hair comes off, and then this one is missing obviously a couple legs. So that is the Chilean rose-haired tarantula and her molting habits. If you want to make a habitat for her, it's very easy. If we can go back to the bigger camera, I can hold up. So right here I just have a terrarium, and it has some soil in it, and then it has a log for her to hide under, and a water dish, and then obviously I'm going to put the lid on it as well. But she is happy in just that. And then we feed them 1 cricket a week, 2 if they're really hungry. Sometimes they snatch a cricket right away. That means they're a little bit hungrier than usual. In the wild, they can actually go up to 3 months without food, but we like to keep ours happy here.